Tarot. I am Crystal, your tarot reader. Listen, Aries, if you haven't had a chance to look at your general reading for February 2020, go check that out. I have a feeling there'll be some little nuggets in there that perhaps you can take with you. But right now, Aries, what we are going to talk about is your money, finances, job, career, business. And for those of you who are in that energy and you're not quite working yet, perhaps we can touch on what is calling you in regards to your purpose. First, we're going to start with your center card, Aries, and that is the Four of Swords. Now, with that being the center card, that is your overall energy. And Aries, I feel like that you're recovering from a battle, and a mental battle, and a physical battle, and a battle that you're having in your head, and you're trying to recover and heal from it. And having your cards already laid out, we're going to talk about what you are healing from. We're going to talk about your money first, and that's in your moon energy, because let's face it, Aries, we don't want people knowing how much money you have and how much money you don't have. Ooh, almost dropped my hair. Listen, first card, Nine of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, and Ten of Pentacles. Now, there's a couple of messages that I get here. I feel like that with the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Wands is giving me the feeling of you spending money in different places. We spent it on entertainment, we spent it on food, we spent it on traveling, we spent a little bit on things that we wanted, along with our bills and everything like that. And you're kind of like, what? You're kind of looking back at all the things you did, and you're not necessarily proud of all the decisions that you made. And another message that I'm getting, Aries, is you don't have to label yourself. I don't want you to identify yourself as money. I don't want that to be your title. I feel like I'm not explaining that properly. And the reason I say that is I feel like when you have money and things feel good, then you are present, right? And whether you're with your family, if you're with friends, if you're with business partners, you're present and everything is going good. The minute your financial situation starts to change, then it's not so good. And it's not so good for you, and it's not so good for the people around you. You actually remove yourself completely. You remove yourself from that business, you remove yourself from that relationship, you remove yourself from that situation. And the thing is, the people that you're removing yourself from, they don't even know why you have removed yourself. I also feel like that once upon a time, you knew what it felt like to have more money than you have now. So you were able to enjoy certain luxuries. You were able to spend a bit more and not worry so much because you had plenty. And you keep going back and reminiscing about that time. And that's what gets you into this battle that you have with yourself. So I expanded on that Nine of Wands, and what I get is the Fool card and this is the side that came up. It is the Knight of Pentacles. And because it is with this Nine of Wands, this lets me know that we're thinking about the money we used to have, because that's what the wheat represents on his belt pocket. And it's going to take us a little bit longer to get to that point where we were financially. Okay, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of sacrificing, because the wheat field he used to have there, that's all he has left. But what you can do with that, Aries, is you can harvest that so it can make you another field just with those 3 little small pieces of wheat. But we have to make that decision to put that work in to reproduce. We have to be not so foolish and risky with the money that we have, but foolish in the sense to where you believe that you can take those 3 little pieces of wheat and create another more abundance. And I feel like that when we did have the money and somehow it was lost, it's gone, whatever the case, we're not going to talk about what happened. Who cares at this point, right? Because we're talking about now. I feel like that when it did happen, that perhaps people said some not so kind things to you. Like, how could you let this happen? And they kind of put everything on you, right? And that's how come you started getting to this point of, I'm just going to remove myself. I'm going to walk away from this. I'm going to cut my losses. Because you were here when it was good and green and luscious. And then soon as it wasn't green and luscious, then all of a sudden you start talking about me like I'm the enemy, like I did something wrong, right? Where was your contribution? Like, that's the feeling I get. And it hurt you so deeply because I can see those broken, tethered cups, right? There was a battle. We were throwing these cups, and this was really all we had left. And we were so angry, we were even destroying the very last thing that we had. And in my head, Aries, you left with that one cup because you're like, I'm taking something, and that's called my dignity. And with this Queen of Cups, she is one that knows wealth, right? She knows what it feels like. She knows love, but she also knows disappointment. She also knows and has lived through having and not having. But the thing about this Queen of Cups on her inner self, she's reflecting, not meditating on how things used to be. She's reflecting and she's accepting the fact that it is no longer. And now I'm going to move on. And you're going to move on, and I'm going to do this thing by myself, for myself. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, Aries, right? Because when we do that, are we leaving this behind? Our family and friends that love us so much, and because you've been hurt before, and you've kind of built up this wall that no one can get through, because you're like, I'll do it on my own. I don't need you. I'm out. Now, like I said, at one point, we had plenty. And then this happened. Listen, Aries, that's the 10 of Swords. Once you have the 10 of Swords, that is ding dong dead, right? It's one of those of realizing that time is gone, it's finished. And now let's move forward, because you can't go back to that. You can't go back to that. You see, there's no green, there's nothing there that speaks of life after this. So that's an idea, a way of thought, a time in the past that needs to be let go. That is in regarding your money and business, finances, right? And we're going to revisit that in a second. But right now, I want to talk about where your sun energy is. And that is in your job, career, and business, where you show up to every day. And I pulled the 8 of Wands, 5 of Wands, and the King of Swords. Now, the feeling that I'm getting, if this is a company that you work for, where you clock in and clock out, I feel like that I dabble into astrology, right? Just to kind of manage the energies. But I think that there's going to be some placements in Aries for February. And the reason I say this, Aries, are those are times where it's going to be easy for you to be triggered. And I can see the triggering happening right here. Those little things, like just every little thing is just going to get under your skin, and you're going to lose it on your job. And it's going to be one thing after another after another. And the reason we don't want to go in that direction, Aries, is because, truth be told, the people that are in charge of this job where you're working at, they're young themselves. They're young in the sense of they may not know HR. They may not know how to diffuse situations. They may not know how to speak to you properly. They may not know how because they're still young in themselves. You see, although he is a king, but he looks like a 15-year-old child. I mean, his clothes are practically falling off on him. It's like he robbed his father's closet to put on his gear. And by the time he comes out and say this, that, and the other, you're right back here to the nonsense. So before we get here, Aries, let's recognize when we're being triggered. Now, I expanded on that 8 of Wands, and we got the Knight of Pentacles. Or is that the Page? No, that's the Knight. The Knight of Pentacles along with the 9 of Pentacles. Now, what I like about that, so I feel like we're going to be gifted something at work. So I don't know if it's going to be in the form of a bonus, or maybe you have a big sale, or perhaps someone sends you flowers because they appreciated the work you did for them. But there's going to be a small gift. And even if it's a gift that you give yourself because you are proud of how you grew the business, of something you've accomplished within your organization, whatever the case, there's a gift coming to you. I also see that you are working on getting past that history of what I used to have, and you're working on how you can not only get it back, but not look so much and depend on the past, but really be present. How can I in my present obtain wealth? You're very interested in this. So you're probably looking at new ways of making money and getting an income. And we're going to talk about that more too. Now, I expanded on that King of Wands, right? He is some sort of authority figure within your organization. And I expanded with the 3 of Swords along with the King of Swords. Now, remember how we were talking about that 5 of Wands? If we cannot keep that under control, if we cannot recognize those triggers, that King of Wands is going to come in and it's going to be quite disappointing. And not only that, if we are here, it is very easy to slip into that betrayal type of energy where it's no longer, I'm upset that you took the pen off of my desk. It's now, this is why you don't make any sales. This is why you're a failure in this business. This is why you shouldn't be here. Nobody likes you. It turns into like nothing to do with, hey, next time, can you use my pen instead of just taking it? And we want to make sure it's not you that's delivering it. And we also want to make sure it's not being delivered to you. So not only recognizing the triggers for yourself, but recognize when you're triggering that coworker so that we can avoid this, because they're not going to help you. They're just going to make matters worse. Seriously. I mean, I know there's supposed to be leadership within your organization, but they are not going to help. It's actually going to cause more issues. Right? And this is what I expanded on that 5 of Wands. It's going to turn into, okay, so now we're going to start documenting this. And then after that first write-up, then both of you are going to have to go home, and then we're going to start cutting your pay. And then it's going to turn into foolishness. Something very important for you business owners. I feel like there's some sort of electrical issue that we need to stay on top of, because I feel like it's going to start popping in certain areas. And this person from the city or whatever is going to come and shut you down for a couple of days. So just take a look at your electrical stuff. Look at it twice. I feel like that whoever you have come in, maybe it's, it's someone, a friend of a friend, or a cousin, or it's like someone who you're like, let's keep it in the family type of thing. No. Don't trust it. I almost feel like they're almost jealous of your success and they're going to betray you somehow. And it's just not going to work out, right? I'm not trying to scare you, Aries. I'm just saying that if you get that gut feeling that perhaps they're not being 100% honest with you, go with a different professional to check that out for you. And see, with this Knight of Wands, right? Look at his face. I don't know if you can see it. He looks so angry, right? That's what this is going to cause. And once you're at this point, it's almost no turning back as far as your energy. So now you're coming into work looking mad. Now everybody else coming to work looking mad, and no one's productive. And it causes for a very tense situation. Watch those triggers, Aries. All right, my dear. So we're going to do a little bit of expansion. At first, I want to expand on that Ace of Cups. We're going back to your money. I want to expand on that Ace of Cups with that Ten of Swords. I just want to see if Spirit of Source is going to give us some more insight on that. So we have the Queen of Wands along with the Knight of Wands. Yeah. Listen. So we are going to get word of a new opportunity or an opportunity to take advantage of. And it's going to be prosperous. It's going to be a slow one, but it's going to be an area where you can be a bit more creative. And I'm sorry I skipped a sector, and I apologize. And what made me remember is the creativity that I'm seeing in your money sector. So this is for those of you who maybe aren't working, or you're like, hey, I'm being pulled towards something, or I want to get out of this job. What do you see in the cards for me? So what I do see, are some of you Aries into health and fitness? And I'm talking about like an athlete, on an athlete level. You may not be, in the Olympics or playing professional basketball, but whatever it is you are doing, you think of it in that athletic type of way, whether you're racing cars, racing bikes, and I'm seeing competitive dancing and even like gymnastics. Like I'm seeing something that takes detail, that takes, it takes you practicing over and over again. It's just a matter of how you do it and turn it. That's how I see it in my head. And I'm seeing that you're teaching people, that you're almost writing about it. So for example, if you are a dancer, if you are into dance, and perhaps now you're working in a corporate office and you're an accountant, but you want to really, that's where your heart is. I mean, every chance you get, you go look at professional dancers, you go dancing yourself, whether it's ballet or jazz or tap or hip hop, whatever it is, it's your heart. And perhaps you're out of that arena to do it professionally, but you have so much knowledge about it that you can actually write about it. And when you do, it's almost going to be, as soon as you start speaking and writing it, it's going to mirror exactly the feeling you're trying to get across. And when we do that, you're going to be in alignment with what you're supposed to be, with your calling. That's where you're going to find your secret sauce. That's where you're going to find your placement again, because I feel like that you just feel misplaced. This is going to help. See, this is the yin and the yang. This is the past with the present, where you have them actually riding together so they complement the ride. And I believe once we start writing, right? And this is all about being reflective, because this is the inner of the King of Swords. This is all about his inner feeling. So this is all about bringing up the past in that sense of what you used to do and what you did in that time to achieve it. And you're going to write about it. Yeah, I see writing, whether it's a blog or if you're writing a book or a how-to, like an ebook or something. I feel like that would be right up your alley. Now, I also see some of us as entrepreneurs, starting your own business. So I see a partnership, right? But with this partnership, Aries, listen, if you decide to do this partnership, vet your partner and be mindful about what you guys decide to do. Don't cut corners. Don't try to save money by doing it yourself or not doing it, not filling out this document. Do not have that attitude where everybody else does it, because it's not going to work out for you. This is the Judgment card on that side, right? When it's on that side, as far as the Judgment, this is a pure, you'll get caught. It won't work out. Don't try to cheat. Justice will follow you to make it right. And that's coupled with the 5 of Swords. You see, it's almost like a useless fight. Because it ends up causing more problems down the road. You end up having to pay these fines. You can't open up because you broke the rules. So now it's going to take longer because now we don't trust you. So now you're down on our list 6 months from now. But wait, I'm paying rent on this building. Who cares? You should have did it right the first time. Like, it's going to end up costing you more in the long run if you don't follow the rules in the beginning. And that's for my entrepreneurs. Okay, so back to the money, honey. So listen, you're going to get an offer of a new opportunity. That's that Knight of Wands. That Knight of Wands is that new offer of a job, a new venture, something different. It's gonna take your money like to the left, and I like it because it's also with the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands, she doesn't play around. She's all about business, right? She's not there to tell you how to do it. She's not there to show you how loving she is. She is there to get her done, right? And Aries, you like that. You don't like anybody to beat around the bush. And she's going to come and offer some money. It won't be a whole bunch more, but enough to where it piques your interest. I want to expand on this Fool card and Knight card. So we got the Judgment card that I expanded on that Fool and Knight, right? And I feel like that this is how you feel. It's almost like, Aries, stop punishing yourself. Like those things that people were saying when the money started to dry up and when finances shifted and changed, whether it was from your family, friends, or even some of the people you were in business with, stop replaying that in your head, because you're almost blaming yourself too. Like, I deserve this. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Things just frippin' happen sometimes, Aries. And if it happened to you, then let's move on and move up. Move left, move right, but do not keep moving back, okay? Yeah, I feel like that so I have a Queen of Swords in regards to what I expanded on this Queen of Cups and this A of Cups. So the Queen of Swords, she's not the most tactful. And I do believe it was family oriented. Maybe it was a husband, maybe it was a wife, maybe it was a cousin that you were in business with. I don't know. But whoever it was, they were not tactful in the things that they were saying when all of this went down. I just keep hearing, forget her, bump her, don't worry about her, who cares about her? That's what I keep hearing. But, yeah. All right, let me see if I can see any more things in regards to your money. Because I see a new offer, I see a little bit more money. I want us to, I think the main focus is getting past the past, right? Yeah. All right, Aries, I see we're gonna have to do some work here in regards to your money, right? We keep thinking about the past and all this disappointment when you literally have 4 cups here ready to be filled. And you're even getting blessings from Source, right? And you're still sitting there like a bump on the log. I feel like that you have it pretty doggone good. You have it better than what you think you do. We have to have a mind shift here. All right, Aries, let's work on that, honey. Because I see prosperity, but you have to graduate from this thought process and whatever the heck this person said and did who is getting in your head. No, they have no room there. They have no room there. They have no say. Finish with that. All right, so let's expand on this job. I want to know more about this little gift you're getting. Yeah, you're definitely getting a gift. So we have the Hangman and we have the Ace of Pentacles. So there's definitely something that's going your way because you've been patient, right? I I would expect that maybe March, April, this gift. So it's not going to be something that's sudden. I'm feeling like it's March, April. I feel like it's like the end of March, beginning of April. Of course, it's going to be different for all of us, but there's going to be, and you guys, it's not going to be $1 million, right? But it is going to be a little bit of a token. And gosh, I want you to have a token so badly. I feel like it's going to shift your spirits a bit, to start believing in people, start believing in yourself, and starting to believe in that the universe is on your side. Because I believe that you've been feeling like left behind. Where do I belong? All right, so let's expand on this King of Swords, the Three of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. That's a lot of doggone swords. Yeah. All right, Aries, right? So perhaps this offer that we're getting to increase our money is going to be an offer of another job, maybe a transfer to a different position, maybe an offer that we want to do something different, right? We want to add something different to the menu. We want to move this building to a more a demographic that's better for our business. Like there's going to be an offer that's going to be presented to you to where it's going to require you to take movement. And what I like about this card is because once you leave these, this is a better route for you anyway. You see how neatly they're stacked? You did that with care before you left, so it's not like you didn't care, you did. But there was nothing else for you to do. There's no more growth, so you had to move on. Yeah. And even moving on from this, I just keep hearing this betrayal. So whether we need to move on intellectually, because we have a bunch of swords here. If we need to move on intellectually from this betrayal, let's move on from there. If we need to move on from that job because it no longer fits ourself, then let's move on. But there's definitely going to be an opportunity for an offer. So be on the lookout for that. Because I feel like it's going to come under the radar. It's almost going to come out like, oh man, I need a new painter. Well, I'm a painter. Don't go recommending other painters when you're a painter. So it's going to come in slick like that. Okay, so I want to expand on the 7 and 5. Yeah. So, right. So I expanded on that 5 of Wands, that 7 of Cups. It's all tomfoolery. Like like let's stop it, Aries. I want to stop it before it gets to that point of you having to go look for something else, or you even wanting to go look for something else, because I feel like that these are just triggers. It's not necessarily that this job is no longer a good job. It's just that we've been triggered to where it feels that way, where it causes anxiety and annoyances. So let's go ahead and let that go. Let's kill it off, right? Let it be dead so we can get back to work and make that money, right? Uh-oh, I had a spillage. Ooh, Aries, sometimes you get me excited. All right, so this is going to be our last pull, and I want to expand on this 4 of Wands. 4 of Swords. And we got the Ace of Swords, which I like. And this is in the sector of your overall energy and our calling, but I am expanding on your overall energy. And really, this is all about getting word of a new opportunity, of something that's specifically for you, right? And this is a definite with the Page of Wands. That's the messenger. So we will get word, so we won't be resting anymore. We no longer have to rest beyond that battle. The battle is over. But it's up to you to end that battle. Alrighty, Aries, I so hope this was helpful. Let me know if you want to see this every month or maybe every quarter. What else? If you like this and you know another Aries who could benefit from this, share it, like it, all that good stuff, and subscribe. I'd be tickled pink. Okay, Aries, I absolutely adore you.